Hello, sorry. We're making a lighter dinner tonight. Gonna do a rice pilaf with pan-seared scallops, asparagus, and a basil pesto on top. So let's get started. Gonna start by getting a pan heated up with a little butter and olive oil. Just keep it on low because I'm gonna just saute the onions and garlic super low so they get really soft and sweet. Alright, that's on low. While that gets hot, I'm just going to go ahead and cut up our onions and garlic. Go ahead and peel garlic for the pesto also, so I'll just keep one clove on the side for that. I'm not going to chop it up because we're just going to do that in a food processor. Hockey Mom NP, we are doing rice pilaf with seared scallops, basil pesto, and asparagus. So a lighter meal after all this Thanksgiving food. I can give you another onion chopping lesson. Alright, so this is for Hockey Mom NP. So we take our onion that's just cut in half and peeled. And then we're going to cut it this way first. So horizontal, parallel to like the bottom. And you're just going to make your cuts as small as you want your dice. And you're not going to go all the way through. And then after that we're going to cut straight down in the same size. So if you want it really small, keep your cut small, and you're not going to go through all the way through the back. So just cutting down, and it should all be holding together other than some like random ones that fall off. And then once you cut it regular, it's going to all come into small dice. And then I just go back and finish the end. Them pieces won't be as pretty as the middle, but they're still good to use. And that way everything, if you cut it like this and all your cuts are the same, everything will cook evenly, so you don't have to worry about big chunks taking longer, small ones being done quicker and possibly burning or anything like that. And it's much faster, so you're not crying as much. Yes, sharp knife. Always need a sharp knife. They always say that dull knives are much more dangerous than sharp ones because you put so much more pressure down with a dull one that if you slip, you're gonna do way more damage. All right, let's go ahead and throw the onions in our low pan with some butter and oil in it. And we're gonna immediately salt so that they start letting their liquid go, so they saute faster and more evenly. Garlic cut. Everybody who's just getting here, we're making a lighter meal tonight. We're gonna do a rice pilaf with asparagus, pan-seared scallops, and pesto, basil pesto on top of it. We're just getting started. Got the onions in the pot and getting garlic in right now. And we're just gonna get those sauteed really well so they're nice and sweet. All right, so while we're waiting on those to saute, I'm gonna get the rice into a strainer. And I'm just gonna rinse it until the water runs clear. I think rice cooks best that way. I'm just gonna do a cup tonight. And I'm just gonna rinse them off over here. And we're using basmati. I like basmati because it's a long grain, and if you cook it, the right time, it stays super fluffy and it's really fragrant all on its own. So, if you were to eat it plain, it's still really delicious. Got that rinsed off. Get it into a bowl. Rice is rinsed and ready. Hello, thanks for joining. I'm gonna check on our veg. So you don't really want to rush this part at all. Keep it low and take your time. The slower you go and the longer you go, the sweeter the vegetables will be. So they'll be so we can go ahead and get started on our pesto. I'm gonna do walnuts in the pesto today, and I'm gonna get those toasted because I toast all nuts before I use them, no matter what. So we're gonna pan hot, and then we'll throw our nuts in there. All right, so we're gonna make it in this little handy dandy food processor. We got a clove of garlic in there. Get our basil. I'm just gonna use this whole container. I like for it to be pretty strong. And just take the leaves off. You can get some of the stem. It still has a lot of flavor. And these are pretty soft stems, so I'm not worried about them being too rough. All right, basil, garlic in there. Get some lemon juice. I'm just gonna use a half a lemon, and then I'll use the other half when we sear the scallops, so that we can add a little extra flavor at the end. Seafood is amazing with lemon always, so. So I don't have my recipes up anywhere. Yep, cooking with a bun in the oven. Thanks for noticing. That's why my Bloody Marys were virgin on Saturday. So I don't have my recipes anywhere. I'm working on that, but it's just, my second stream, so I haven't really figured this whole thing out yet. We're just getting it going, so maybe soon we'll have the recipes up. I also don't really follow recipes. I just kind of go with what tastes right, looks right, feels right, so it might be pretty hard for me to get a recipe in writing. Alright, so we're just going to do half the lemon into the food processor. I went to Johnson & Wales Culinary School in Charlotte. Yeah, Caper, he's always hiding. He's close by, ready for me to drop something. Alright, that second lemon is just juice for later when we sear the scallops. Let's get some salt and pepper into this pesto. So I don't always use pepper. A lot of times people do salt and pepper automatically, but pepper is a spice, not really a seasoning. Salt is a flavor enhancer and it seasons everything. Pepper should be used, I think, mostly with tomatoes and beef, and I like it in a lot of Italian things. So I'll use it more often when I'm making things like pesto or Italian food. Oh, you went to Cordon Bleu. Awesome. Cool, yeah, I love Johnson & Wales. That was so much fun. Here he is. Caper's back. Trying to eat some food. Alright, so our pan is hot over here. I'm going to get the nuts toasting. And I always do this on the stovetop because there's less of a chance of me forgetting about them and burning them. So I get my pan pretty hot first, and then I just keep it moving. Thank you for the follow, Amducius. Checking our bed, just getting nice and soft. Nuts are just gonna need a minute. gonna go ahead and throw some olive oil in here, just so we have some liquid to move it around. We don't really want this to be super oil based. It's supposed to be a light sauce, so you just really want the oil in there to get it moving. Just gotta wait on the nuts and then we'll get it buzzed up. Oh, they closed all the campuses? Wow. I didn't know that. Hey Daydreamer, thanks for the follow. So did you like culinary school? Or was it kind of just something you did because you thought you had to? All right. Nuts look like they're ready to go. Nice and toasted. Oh, you did it after the army. Wow. You have done a lot. Thank you for your service. Alright, so nuts are in here, nice and warm, and putting them in here warm will get all the flavors going also. So you want to just use that because it'll open up everything in there. Let's see. So this is a little bit tight, I think. It's not really turning into a sauce. So, hey Allison LeBoo. So I'm making on, bye Daydreamer, thanks for coming in, thanks for the follow. So we're making rice pilaf with asparagus, seared scallops, and a basil pesto with walnuts. So we're just getting the pesto done now. Scrape the sides down a bit. This doesn't have to be totally smooth either. I like the texture of like some nuts that aren't really all the way blended up, and when you can see the herbs. Good. I still want to loosen it up a little bit. Let's taste and see what it needs. So it's got good lemon flavor, good basil flavor. I think I'm going to go with some more olive oil just to loosen it up. Let's check on our veg while we're over here at the stove. I think it's about ready. is good. They're nice and soft. I'm gonna turn it up to like a medium-ish, and we're gonna throw the rice in. And I always, always, always toast my rice when I make it. I just think it opens up the flavor a lot more, and it makes the cooking process a little faster, I think. But I put it in with the veg and whatever fat I have in there. I have some olive oil and butter in now, and then I toast it for a little bit, just until I can kind of smell the rice toasting. Not too long. So I'll let that toast for a bit. I've got chicken broth. Got chicken broth here. I always use low sodium, because if I'm not making it myself, who knows how much salt is in there, and I don't want to mess up my food because something is already too salty. So I like to control the salt myself. Find a lid. Give this pesto another spin before while we're waiting on the rice to toast. Maybe. With that, got a thick sauce slash spread. Will go great over our scallops. Check out our rice. All right, so this is good. It's starting to stick a little, which means it's toasting. That's perfectly fine. There's a little bit of brown going on in here, not too much. But I think we are, and you can definitely smell the rice. Yeah, it smells awesome. We're gonna go ahead and throw our stock in. So 1 cup. So basmati needs a little bit more water than a regular rice. Regular rice is 1-to-1 ratio. We're gonna do like a 1 to a 3/4 ratio. And we're gonna bring this up to a boil. Make sure everything is mixed in. Alright, so we make this boil, and then we'll lower it down to a simmer and cover it up. Hey, is it Peregrine? Hi, Peregrine 42. So we're making a rice pilaf with seared scallops, asparagus, and a walnut pesto spread on it. We just finished the pesto, and we're working on the rice pilaf now. Actually, while we're waiting for that to boil, I'm gonna throw in about a 1/2 cup of golden raisins. I think it's delicious in rice pilaf. Adds a little sweetness, little texture. It's really, really yummy. Just gonna throw those in and stir it a little bit. Like 2 small handfuls. Should be good. At the beginning of the cooking process, so they get all plump and reconcentrated and yummy. Let's see. All right. So we got little bubbles here. So we're pretty much boiling. I'm going to cover this up and lower it to a simmer. It's going to take about 15-ish minutes, 15, 20. Since I have electric stove, it's going to take a little less than 20 because it doesn't lower as quickly as like a gas would as turning down the flame. Let's get our asparagus cleaned up. So the way I like to trim asparagus, first of all, I'll take out any uglies you got. I like the asparagus to tell me where it's supposed to be cut. So I just bend it, and where it breaks is where it needs to break. This one's a dud. We don't like that one. That one is no good. Yeah, and if they don't break, they're just a waste of time. They're not really fresh. But they're all gonna break where they want to be broken. So you don't want that woody part of the asparagus. You can't cook that out of it. Hey, buddy. And you really don't want to eat that. Wanna try one? Okay. If you have a ton of asparagus, I usually break like 2 or 3 and see where they're breaking, and then I just cut them at that point. Because they end up to be about the same length in a bunch. So I'll just break a couple, like if I'm doing it at work, I'll break a couple and then line them all up and cut each bunch the same way. Oh, you liked it? Apparently my dog likes asparagus, so let's give him another one. You're being good. Alright. So these are going to be kind of a last minute thing. We want them to be super fresh. Ready to go. We can clean up the scallops now. Scallops are really easy. These ones are not dry packed, so they're a little bit wet. So once I get all the feet off of them, I'm going to put them on a paper towel and let them dry out. But you can see, so like a normal scallop has a foot on it. Can you see right here, this piece? And it just comes right off. And you want to get rid of that. That's super, super, super tough. That's like their strongest muscle to hold on to the shell. And it doesn't, you can't make that tender at all. So, and really like there's not really any uses for the foot. Oh, a couple of these don't have them. I've like blended them up in the Robo. There's one more. With like breadcrumbs and egg and a little bit of milk and herbs and veggies, and made scallop foot fritters. I thought they were very good. They didn't really catch on, but They were delicious. But sometimes you gotta get creative with that stuff you're throwing away that you can't use. It's technically free because it's trash and you're not buying that specific thing. So if you make something out of your waste, you could make money off of that. Super easy because you're throwing it away anyways. Or you can at least make a staff meal and save money by using those. So I'm setting on paper towels and I'm gonna put a paper towel on top. And you don't want to season these until you're ready to cook them because the salt is gonna make them start leaching liquid. So it'll just make them be even more wet, which you're trying to avoid. So I'll put them on a paper towel like this for a little bit and then I'll flip them and do fresh paper towels if they're really, really wet. But we're gonna leave that here for a little bit until we're ready to cook them. Wash my hands. Okay. So we can get the rice is gonna need just, say 5 more minutes or so. It's not gonna take long. So we can get the asparagus ready.
Like my inside voice has been kind of quiet lately.
I'm gonna pan over medium, low heat. And we don't want this process to take a lot of time because asparagus does not need long at all to cook. You don't want them soft or anything like that. And I'm gonna do the butter, oil combo again. Butter for flavor, oil for the smoke point. Just get that melted and ready. Let's check on our rice real quick. Another thing, when you add raisins, you're going to need a little bit more liquid because they're going to absorb some of the liquid that you have in there for your rice. So it's starting to look dry. Just add a splash more. I'll probably put a little bit in there, but this is really close. Try and keep it covered as long as possible. Don't lift up your cover too much. So we're looking good. We're just waiting on our pan to heat up for the asparagus. Our scallops are drying out. See, I'll flip them. If the bottom towel gets too wet, and I'll just put a new towel in there. Until we are ready. Done with this board. Okay, our pan is ready for asparagus. So I'm just gonna turn it up a little bit. Everything's melted. And just gonna get some salt on standby. And yeah, we're gonna keep it pretty simple because we got the strong flavors in the pilaf and the pesto. So let's get these in here. Actually, I'm gonna throw some white wine in there also. For some extra flavor. And if I put it in right now, it'll steam. It'll steam the asparagus as well, so it'll cook even faster. I'll make a nice little coating on it. Soft. So we're drying the scallops because it gets a super good sear on them. If you don't dry them, the base will steam, so you don't get that nice crust on the scallops like you'd like. And as long as they're dry, they make a really, really awesome brown crust. And scallops don't take long to cook. It's kind of like shrimp. You don't want to overcook them or they come like really chewy and weird. So the drier you have them, the faster they'll make that crust. So the better they'll be. You can already tell the difference. They're looking super dry. They're not as shiny as before, but this is good. And once the asparagus is done, we can sear these guys. We'll be right on our way. Alright, so if you look at the asparagus, it's getting super green. It's cooking really fast. So at this point, we're just cooking off the wine because they are ready to go. See if our rice, how that's looking. Looking good and fluffy. Wow. That's just about there. I'm going to turn off the rice. I always turn off my rice and leave it in the pan where it is probably about 2 minutes before the rice is done. That way you don't accidentally overcook the rice and it doesn't get mushy. That's like the worst. Alright, so asparagus is super, super, super bright green and ready to go. When it looks like it's at the peak of green, take it off. Then it's just gonna start getting brown. Yes, your husband does need a Twitch account. So we're gonna get our pan heated up for the scallops. We're not gonna do it high like we had the asparagus. Let's do like a medium. You do want it hot, but not that hot. You don't need to burn. Alright, so our scallops are dry, looking good. So I'm gonna bring my lemon juice over by the stove. We can get these seasoned now. I will do salt and pepper on these too because I'm keeping it really simple. So pepper's not going to overwhelm anything. Just plump them back up a little. We're gonna do our butter olive oil combo in here, just like we do everything else. Just a little butter. And a little olive oil. So that is nice and hot. And ready for our scallops. You want to make sure it is hot enough to sear as soon as they touch the pan. So let's get these seasoned. A little salt and pepper. Remember, we're salting last minute so that no more liquid leaches out of the scallops. And I just salt and pepper one side. When I put it in the pan, I'll put the seasoned side down. And I'll season the other side. S. Poindexter, thanks for the follow. Sorry for not noticing. My little dancing taco's not working. All right, let's get these scallops in. Bring my salt and pepper over with me so I can season the other side. You should hear a sear immediately. Yes. That's what you want. Now let's season the other side. These aren't going to take long at all. Maybe 2-3 minutes each side. And once I flip them, I'm going to pour the rest of that lemon juice into the pan. I'm going to baste them a little bit with that, with all the oil, butter, and lemon juice. These are working fast, which is good. Let's check on them. Beautiful. Can you see that brown crust? Perfect. All right. Gonna lower this a tad so I can get the lemon juice in and get them basted a little bit before they're done. Kind of tilt the pan, get all my yummy like sauce down here, and kind of pour them over a little bit. And these, when they're done, they just feel a little bit firm to the touch, and they're good to go. So they don't take long at all. You don't want to overcook them because they'll get super tough. And then don't forget about carryover cooking. When the food's, it's not going to cool immediately when you take it out of the pan. So it's going to continue to cook. So you want to save like a minute or two, or if you have bigger cuts of meat like steaks, you want to give them like a 10-minute window to cook after they come off the heat. So these are looking good. Yeah, they're done. Nice and brown on both sides. Just get them onto a plate and we will plate these up. Everything over. Stuff out of the way. All right. I think I want to do a small plate tonight. Or no, let's do a big one. Try to make this look pretty. All right, so let's do pilaf down first. Get a big spoon. I think I'm gonna make one of these super fancy. Let's get a, what do you call it? A mold for our rice. All right. Super fancy stuff happening here. Look at our rice is nice and fluffy, not sticking together. If you do have mushy rice on accident, just take a fork and rake through it. That way you're not smashing it down with a spoon or anything, and you can like really loosen it up and make it fluffy. Or make it appear fluffy. Alright, rice down. Bam. Get some asparagus on here. This is like really old school, but we're going with it. Let's see, make it kind of flat so we can get our scallops on there. Alright. Gotta do the plate wipe. Keep it clean. I like this fancy. Alright, scallops down. Let's just do some of this pesto kind of over and around here. I think I want to do like a swoosh here. Ho ho. Old school. And we'll just put a little bit in the center. Needed some herbage. Some parsley. Something green. Should have saved a basil leaf, I think. Bam. Alright. Little light dinner after Thanksgiving holiday. Let's try another plate. Let's make this one a little more a little casual. Rice down. I'm going to do asparagus here. And that's going to be my scallop landing zone. Let's do it like this. Actually, this one's getting not so casual. It's starting to look a little fancy. That's okay. What do I want to do with this sauce? Let's just do a straight smear here. Cool. Let's go with that. Maybe some more asparagus over here. There. And our greenery. Here we go. Second plate done. First, I think I like the first plate better. First plate, second plate. Alright, so we got a pilaf, seared scallops, asparagus, and a basil walnut pesto. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to find someone to raid really quick. And I'll see you soon.